You're rocking with Prophet, and you're now tuned in to Danaya Azure Radio.
Good morning, Prophet. How are you?
Man, I'm great, man. How are you?
I am good. I'm so glad to have you on. Prophet is a Grammy Award-winning producer, and he is the first producer to have his music with a hip hop artist going to the moon. Like, OMG. So, when I first met you, you were a video director and editor. So, when did you start doing music?
No, I started music first. I started playing music when I was 12. Taught myself how to play the keys, and just went from there.
Awesome. So how did okay, cool. So how did you get into music production?
So I grew up around music. My father worked at WGC. He worked in Chicago in radio at WBMX. You know what I'm saying? And so I grew up around music. My whole life in studios and all that. So it was just basically inevitable for me to, you know, work on music, love music, and all of that. So basically, the influence of my father probably would be like how I got into music production. You know what I mean? Just
Awesome sauce. Do you
influence
remember
that
how
was.
old you were when you Mhm.
It was the influence that was all.
Awesome sauce. Do you remember how old you were when you first started producing beats?
I was say 12. That's when I started putting together, figuring out the keys on the Roland Juno 106. Started recording myself on tapes, cassettes. So I was 12 when I first started really trying to produce.
Right. And it's funny you said tapes because like back in the day, that's what we used to do. You had the one side going, and then you're recording over the other side, and all of that.
And the whole,
Absolutely, you're like trying to make sure that it comes in at the right part. Or then back then, when you before your song came out, your favorite song came out on the radio, trying to record it from the radio, and parents in the background screaming like, seriously.
yeah. And then my pops bought a Tascam.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny.
Bought me a 4-track recorder.
Mm.
Was it. I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Most definitely. A Grammy Award-winning producer, Prophet is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So, how did you get into video editing and producing?
Same thing. So I was in college at that time. I had started my business and made business for other businesses. I would go around and pitch commercial ideas to local business owners in Detroit. And it started with me just selling, the service, and then I had people I would hire to do everything. And in 2008, and 2009, worked on a documentary, The Cotton Picking Truth, Still on the Plantation, and couldn't get nobody to actually film the documentary. And that's when it was like, okay, I had to do it myself. And then from that point on, I just doing it myself.
So, what was that experience like working on that documentary?
It was insane, man. My pops worked on it with me. You know what I'm saying? We went to Mississippi. The lady May Louise Miller. It was only supposed to be about her, who was supposedly like the last family that was enslaved. And when we got and she was like, it's still going on now. And so she literally took us to like parts of Mississippi where, what I mean, it was still happening. Dick Gregory joined in on the film. God rest his soul, the legend. And as a result, in 2013, a lot of people worked real hard to get the 13th Amendment finally ratified in Mississippi in 2013. So
that's super dope. So you've been a part of history on more than one occasion.
yeah, I only worked with legends. To be honest, I've only worked with legends.
That's super dope. So you also work with AEW star Swerve Strickland. How did that collaboration come to be?
I was in LA, and my man Flash Gardner, he swerved to the studio. Swerve was looking for a theme song, original theme song, and I had made that melody. You know what I'm saying? So he came to the studio, we met, he told me what he was looking to do. I played the melody. He Swerve both went crazy when they heard the melody. And they just went nuts. So, but I ain't had no drums for it, so Flash guy, Khalid Brooks, he came through, put some drums on it. It was fire. Collaborative. Flash Swerve went crazy on the lyrics. I wrote a little bit of the lyrics too, and it was just a dope collaboration.
Yeah. That's awesome. So how did you first get started working with Malik?
So Malik and my cousin grew up in Chicago together. My cousin Sylvain, G. Seal. And he introduced us. He came to Detroit on the 444 tour. I was living in Detroit at the time. And I had been sending him music for years, man. I don't know how many years I had been sending Malik music. Not hearing nothing back, you know what I'm saying? I know, he was super busy. I get it. He just thought he wasn't dope yet. But he came on the 444 tour, and he ahead of time was like, bro, let's connect when I get to Detroit. I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Got him from the airport. When he got to Detroit, he went straight to the venue, Little Caesars Arena. And he spent all day with like Vic Mensa backstage, and whole. I'm like, yo, crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, performed or whatever, opened up the show for Hole. I was like, man, wow, you know what I'm saying? And at that point on, man, we after the show, we worked on some. I'm like, Leak just don't stop, man. He's just a machine, just like Kanye.
Yeah,
machine.
Vic is awesome.
We ended up working on some music after the show, and then from there we just kept building over years. Came back to Detroit, and we worked on some film stuff at the same time. Music, dope, but let me show you some more things about sound and science of sound and things you can do to make production even crazier. And that's how the relationship really got going.
That's so awesome. And Grammy-winning producer Prophet is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So, I originally heard that Prophet was in music when we first started Bad Kids, his beats were some of the very first beats that we used in camp. So it's super awesome to see what he's done to this point. So I know the question everyone wants to know: when did you get the call that you were working on Donda, and how did you feel?
Well, I didn't get here's what happened. So before that happened, heard the voice. Some people call it the voice of God, voice of the universe, whatever. And the voice said, spend a week in LA every month. It didn't say for how long, none of that. Just said spend a week in LA. I really didn't have, money like that to do it. But somehow I did that. So I started going to LA once a month for a week. Every fourth month, I was in LA with Malik. Yeah, he hit him. I was like, yo, we come to San Francisco tomorrow. And he looked at me, he was like, you want to come? I was like, hell yeah, what you mean? So, let's go. And met Ye. Like, are you a producer? I was like, yeah. That was it. That's how it happened.
That's so dope. And that it really does it goes to the fact of listening to your conscience and going with what your heart is telling you to do. I remember because we were in camp when Malik got the text about working on the next project and all that. So it was pretty dope to be able to see that you were able to be a part of that. Because you've been such a huge part of Bad Kids.
Yeah, it was amazing, man. It was real, like a music wonderland. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was there. Rick Rubin sitting on a meditating, playing beats for Rick Rubin. It was just, you know what I'm saying? I can't believe all of this right now. If you loved music, you had to be there. Everybody. J Electronica,
That's super dope. So what would you say was your standout moment working on the Donda album?
For me, the standout moment was probably was Jail. He had took the original guitar off the song, and Mike Dean started playing, trying to find how the strings that you hear on Jail ended up on Jail. Started playing the strings, but while Mike was doing that, I replayed the guitar and changed the sound of it. Just different, a little bit more ethereal and a little bit more sublime, a little bit less harsh. And I played it for him. I put the headphones, I gave him my headphones, listen to this. And he listening, he started going crazy. Listening crazy. Yeah. So Mike, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That was yeah, Hove? What?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. For me, that was it. I was just like,
You were done after that. You're like, that's it. I'm good. Uh, Grammy Award-winning producer, Prophet is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So speaking of the Grammys, what was that feeling like when you guys heard your name called for not just jail but hurricane as well?
Um, it was nuts because so the Grammys, that's an all day. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
guess don't know it, but it's at like 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? West Coast, it's not. I don't know when. I don't know 9 or 10 o'clock at night or something. I'm like, so it's a long day, and it's done in 2 different sections. So you got the first like 12 to 4, like 5, a little later. So 2 sections. It's 2 sections. It was first section, and the first half of the day, they announce a lot of category things. Like that's that part wasn't on TV.
Right.
When I got the news, we was just walking. We was a group of us walking in the hall. Swerve was there. Flash was there. A couple of my homeboys, my girl. And we was walking in the hall in Vegas, going to the other part of the Grand, and they was still announcing stuff on the first half of the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? That's not television. And it came through one of my homeboy, I think Flash, he was like toned in or something, some kind of way to the announcement of it. And he was like, yo, Hurricane just won.
Right.
We all just went nuts in the hallway. People was looking like, what? We was all going crazy. And that was special.
Absolutely. Because I remember when we were in camp, we were just sitting there because we were in Vegas at the time, and so I guess it had leaked online, and so one of my boys, B-White, hit me up, and he was like, "We got it. We got 2 at least." I was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "We got it on a hurricane." I was like, "What?" So it was just so epic to be able to see that, and then to be able to celebrate with you guys at the after party after. It was just such a beautiful moment because again, like I said previously, to know that your beat was the first beat that we worked with in camp, and to go through the process with you guys in Donda, that was a lot. It was beautiful to be able to experience that and be like, all of this work is what led up to this moment. That was really cool because like Malik would be working with Ye and Prophets teaching camp, and then all of a sudden Prophets getting called in. It was really cool. It was really cool to be a part of that amazing experience for sure.
It was amazing. It was truly amazing.
Yes. So Grammy Award-winning producer Prophet is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So you have your first 2 Grammys. What's next? Aside from now, you have music that is going to the moon. How in the world did that even get started?
So actually, when I was in Vegas for the Grammys, the day after the Grammys, my man Lazarus hit me. Lazarus, me and him, 20, Wayne State together. We went to college together. So we've been working on music for a very, very long time together, man. Actually, his first hip hop award was a Detroit local hip hop award, and I had produced that song for him. You know what I'm saying? So that was like early 2000s, and he hit me up when we was in in Vegas for the Grammys. It was like, yo, let's meet up tomorrow at the studio. So at Monday studio, we met at Dawson's studio, and he was like, yo, man, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but NASA want me to do a song because Lazarus is a doctor and a rapper, like a real medical doctor. You know what I'm saying? And but he a real MC too. Like he's on tour with Wu-Tang and Jizza. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't a play MC. That's a doctor. He's a super MC. So, you know, he was like, you got anything that sound like cosmic or you know anything like that? Anything that'll fit like into like something that's about space and space travel and space exploration. And I was like, actually I do. I do got something. I had made a track like 2 months before that. That I don't know why I was making it or nothing. It was just in my spirit, and it just sounded real ethereal. You know what I'm saying? Like just real. It just sounded real crazy when I was making it. It felt crazy to make it too. It was a feeling almost like that brought me to tears when I was making the track. I didn't know what it was about. You know what I'm saying? But it just felt. It was a strong. You know, it was just a strong, odd feeling. And so I played the track. He like, oh, this is perfect. So he instantly calls NASA right in front of me in the studio, sends them the track. Next thing I know, I'm looking at like a bunch of NASA engineers listening to the track. They analyzing the track. They like, yeah, this at the right frequency. This the one. So I'm like, man, this is nuts. So
yeah, and that record is fire too.
Yeah, he wrote it. You know, he took his time. He did a lot of research. He went to NASA in DC and chief scientist Ben Green. He told him all about it. You know what it's like to be an astronaut, to traveling out of space. And he would call me and be like, "Yo, what you think of this?" And he'd rap some of what he was doing, what he had written. I'm like, "Yo, that's dope." You know what I'm saying? Like, he was taking his time to really put the song together like perfectly, to where you know it met his own standards of like lyrical ability and was special enough for the world to like, you know, be like, yo, that's nuts. I feel like he did an amazing job.
Most definitely, for sure, for sure. You know, it's always beautiful when you're able to be a part of history, and that is huge, huge to have the first, you know, record and on the moon, and it's going to be a hip hop record. Like that shows how beautiful our culture is, and the fact that you've been a part of that is super super dope. We definitely got to have Lazarus come on soon as well to celebrate him and everything that he's doing, because to be able to be a phenomenal MC and be a doctor is not an easy task by any means. And love how you said that he took his time with that record. People think that, you know, records are instantaneous and overnight success, yada yada yada. Usually, overnight success takes about 10 years to get. Let's be very clear, y'all. It just doesn't really happen overnight. Y'all just don't see them until they hit the mainstream for the most part, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he did it. He did the song. I think he was finished with the song by maybe July or August of last year. The rest of it was just a process. Everything happening, but it had been like it took him maybe from what was that, April 3rd? He took his time to write it, rewrite it, all of that. You know.
That's what's up. Absolutely. So, what's next for Prophet? Like, what other projects are you working on?
I can't talk about the TV show that's coming out in its first season. But everybody will know about it once it hits. Hopefully this writer's strike is over soon. I really hope that's over soon because I could possibly get the theme song for this TV show, but
wow,
even negotiated right now because of the writer's strike.
Right.
Song is done. Song is fired. In the show too. So it's that's one thing. I'm working with Bella Black on some fire music, and other than that, just opening new opportunities, man. Just welcoming new opportunities to come in.
That is definitely what's up. So go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you, book you, all that fun stuff.
Go to Prophet the Producer on Instagram. That is P Producer, PROD. On all my information is there. My links are there. On there, you can hit my email there. Everything is there.
Also, make sure you guys follow Prophet the Producer on Instagram to get all the info. Thank you so much, Prophet. It has been a pleasure. It's been such a pleasure working with you, and I'd love to see all the amazing things that you're doing.
It's been a pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. You continue.
Absolutely.
Continue sex to you.